is something pretty remarkable.
This is my movie.
These are our stories.
I am Real Works.
Are you recording right now?
It ruined my life because I lost my mother.
We were really at the age where it was going to affect us the most.
Listen to my story.
This is my story.
Get inspired by us teens.
This is where I can tell my story. Where teens from New York are given a voice. This is Real Works.
Welcome to Real Works. I'm Byron Hurt. It doesn't matter who my father was, poet Anne Sexton said. It matters who I remember he was. Check out this next film about a boy's memory of his father.
When an artist paints a picture, sometimes it's like their guts are all over the canvas or the paper or whatever they've used to paint on. And if they get rejected and somebody doesn't like what they've painted, they take it into heart very strongly.
My father, Stephen Shrem, came to New York to pursue his dream of becoming a famous artist. His piece, Happy Buildings, almost got him there. But his art, along with his life, hasn't turned out much better than the two buildings at the center of his piece. Over the past couple years, my father, Stephen Shrem, has become my obsession. I think of him every day and try to unravel the mystery of his life. As I was growing up, my dad was everything to me. He wasn't only an artist, but an incredible martial artist, musician, an accomplished chess master, as well as my best friend. He used to say to be humble and never think you're better than anyone else. So that's why I can't understand how he screwed up so badly.
He was artistic, he was creative, he was sensitive.
He wanted to get famous fast.
He was so young, so naive, so innocent, didn't have a penny, didn't have education, nothing. He had a cute smile, he was nice, he was young. We were both young. We were having fun. We were free. But there was absolutely no prospect for anything. And this is why we objected. And they went and got married anyway. And with my blessing, we gave them a little wedding because she was going to do it anyway.
Things worked out well in the beginning. My mom and dad were a team. She believed in his work and helped to build his career.
And as a team, they were who sold an incredible amount of art. He was funny, he was crazy, and people liked that whole aura about it.
In the beginning, he would make paintings and he was unsure of himself, so he would not tell people that he was the artist. And he was a very, very good salesman.
As far as a promoter for his own art and everything, he was the best.
He did his little song and dance and wouldn't let anybody walk by without showing them a second piece, a third piece.
A lot of galleries who bought his art didn't know how to sell it.
Really?
He was the best salesman.
By the time my little sister was born and I was 7 years old, my father and his art was on a rise. But family life and the artist life became hard to balance.
Your mother put in a lot of effort to make it last. She worked very hard. She took over so he could play around and have his art and make a little money, but he was not responsible.
He was the kind of guy that he'd want to work a few weeks and he'd want to take off and relax a few weeks.
People expected him to, wake up in the morning and go to work, work all day, come home, bring home the money.
Your mother, when she was younger, she went with him and she was the hippie bride, and she was going with him to the West Coast and being what he wanted to be, being his Yoko Ono to his John Lennon. But later on, she decided to grow up, raise children, and be part of a community. And he came and he tried to do that, but he never fit in with it.
He just started getting very full of himself. his ego started growing because he was getting some fame and popularity from his artwork.
He couldn't take any type of criticism. Anything that we would say, he would fight. Everything was a fight.
I think he was in love with his art. That's what happens.
And he wanted to be the artist, and he wanted to be the husband and the father, and he wanted to be the musician and the poet. And he did a little of each, but he didn't do it all the way it should have been done. So like I said, at one time she was willing to do anything he wanted, but later on he had to do what she wanted, and he didn't want to do what anybody wanted.
My father then started to become well known from a certain style of pictures he created. Pictures he called Shremographs. A picture that had two sides to it depending on the way you looked at it. But along with another side to his pictures, he created another side to himself. At one point of his life, he changed his name from Stephen to Stephen, and lashed out at anyone who called him Stephen again.
When you're called a name all your life and people use it, Stephen, you know, and they use it to yell at you or to degrade you or to put you down or to compliment you, the name becomes a paddle. It becomes like something you can be hit with. So he changed his name.
He like he had a double personality. That's what happens.
For me, it was very difficult because I knew him for at least at this point by 12, 13 years as Stephen. And then to call him Stephen was a problem for me.
On October 13, 1999, my father Stephen ran away to Paris with another woman. It was on my 10th birthday. In the beginning, it was really hard to see someone you look up to so much, and like you spend so much of your life with, to just like disappear all of a sudden.
Without saying goodbye, without saying anything. Through no fault of your own. He went far away. He made the decisions. It was a month later, and he showed up at the door, and he didn't want to use his key. I don't know, he knocked at the door, and I opened the door, and then he came in, and he had his guitar slung over his back, and he said, "I'm 18 again." I said, "Really? That's nice." And then I walked away.
Soon after, my father moved to Paris for good, and everything fell apart, and his career in the art world nearly ended. While I was making this film, I got a call. My father said he had a storage bin down in Jersey that he had neglected and couldn't pay off. He said that if someone didn't bring $1,000 to the bin by 9:30 a.m. the following morning, the bin would be gone. With the help of my mom, I took my bar mitzvah money and bought the bin. I didn't expect to find anything too valuable. I just felt that I couldn't let any of it go. The bin was a disaster. His artwork, his writings, his photos, and his books have been thrown around and discarded like the people in his life, like me. It's all I have left of him, at least for now, but maybe forever.
Not having a dad in your life doesn't mean young men lack father figures in their lives. Jerry Gomez pays homage to one of the most important men in his life with his film, Heart and Hustle.
Let's go, bring it in. Good job. You always call it. Good job, good job.
Yeah, you always do it. Work up! Hustle! Work up! Hustle!
Let's go.
James Terrence Seiko. I was born right here in Brooklyn, 1975. When I first started coaching, I only coached because my son wanted to play. I didn't have a whole lot of desire to teach anybody. I was very, very strict, very unbreakable, and I just felt this is how it's got to be done and this is how it's going to get done. But over the years, you know, having these boys and watching them grow and extending my family with these kids, I think they've changed me into more of a father figure / coach, because I feel like a father to a lot of my kids.
James, outside of baseball, he's actually like, he can be your friend.
He's the first coach I ever had as a good coach. He talks about responsibilities, life in general. I don't know, he reaches out to you, and like, He really helps you out when you have problems.
Most of my youth, I lived in Crown Heights. The only times that I really enjoyed myself was when I was outdoors. Because inside my house, it just wasn't a lot of fun. My father was abusive, and you couldn't look at him in the eye, you couldn't talk to him. What I do now is why I was able to escape, to have fun. I was never inside my house. You know, one thing that I told my father years ago when we reconciled is, I'm very thankful because you've shown me what I don't want to do.
Let's go.
Brandon I've known for years, and I love Brandon like my own son. And it hurts me when I see this kid throwing away his future.
I didn't go to school for about 2 weeks, and my mom called James. So he came to my house, picked me up, had a good talk, drove me to school.
When he was taking you to school, what did he tell you about his childhood?
How rough it is, and no matter how rough things are for me, that school is the main priority, no matter what.
Come here, Brandon. Look, Brandon.
I would hope I've helped him realize how to focus on what's important and what he should be putting more effort into now as he goes on and as he continues with his young adult life.
Get your head back in this game. You understand?
My name is Jeffrey. I've been playing baseball, to say true, when I started with James since last year.
Let's go.
You know, Jeff, I see a lot of me, but not baseball-wise. I just see a lot of anger. And I see a kid that a lot of people gave up on, and I feel really bad for him. I was moved from my home at 12, and I didn't go back home until 14. I was just angry at everybody, even people that may not even heard of me or seen me. I blamed them for something.
He's a good coach. Every coach has their own way to coach. I had some anger problems, strike three, calls maybe I won't like. So, you know, he's a strong guy, so by him screaming at me and just shutting me up, it would give me a reason why I should stop right there in the play and just think about twice before I scream out or get angry.
I hope that I've helped him calm down. I've gone to his house and we've talked in front of his door. I always try and give him a hug when I see him to let him know, you know, no matter what, I love him. Everything's a step process. I never expected for him to turn around in a day. So the real test will come down the line, you know. It's not a day type of deal. You can't change the world, you know. You can only change what you happen to come across. I gave it my best to change, bring in and change, and hopefully I've done enough.
Be aggressive. You see something to hit it, drive it. Each and every one of you here has always been a champion to me. One time!
Game time!
One time!
Game time!
What do we bring?
Hustle!
Monty!
Oh!
All right, let's go. Get that line up, clap it up. Let's go.
Yeah! 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 Yeah!
The easiest part of the game is to give a kid a hug. I'm a real emotional guy. You know, my growth as a man has actually been helped by a lot of these kids that I've coached. Now, when I come across situations that would trigger a lot of anger and rage before, I can handle it very, very well now. Again, I feel like a father to a lot of these kids.
I'll pay for the pizza.
And once this group is not playing anymore, I will always be around and connected with them. But at that point, I really, really think I'd step away.
Boys aren't the only ones to suffer when a dad quits the family. Filmmaker Layla Gardner looks at 3 generations of extraordinary women growing up without a man in the house and repeating history.
When I got pregnant with you, I said, oh boy, I know he's not going to be around. I'm sorry, Layla. I said that to you before you were even born. I said, I'm sorry, Layla. He's not going to be here for you. I wish I could have picked better. I wish I could have picked better for you. But I didn't expect him to just walk away. Just walk away. I never understood how a man can do that. How do you get that? How can you do that?
Having multiple generations of my family not having a father around is something at the same time pretty remarkable in the fact that it's happened so many times, but also pretty sad.
I grew up without my mother and without my father. Maybe they couldn't afford to take care of me, so they gave me to my aunt and uncle. I met your grandfather when I was 18 years old.
Where?
My sister Edna introduced him to me. Mm-hmm. So I thought he was kind of cute, and I thought that he'd make a nice husband. We got married, mm-hmm. and then we had our family, and then we got divorced. Mm-hmm. And
what was that?
I got divorced in 1973. Yeah.
So that's when my mom was 10.
Yes.
It would have been nice to have him there during the week, instead of just coming over on the weekends to discipline us, mm-hmm. or just to take us out to eat and then just drop us back off again, and then we wouldn't hear from him.
My father moved around the corner with his, the woman who is now his wife today. So we would see him when he would come home from work, mm-hmm. and with her, and it was a really difficult thing to tolerate.
Children need their father full times, but if the weekends is all that they have, and he gave them quality time while he was with them, and whether it was enough for them, I don't know.
No. Because it was kind of weird. It was sometimes it was kind of like seeing a stranger. One day somebody's there, next day they're gone.
I know your mom has been affected. I know we have all been affected in different ways. And what's so interesting is if you ask each and every one of us about our experience with our father, you probably think we're talking about different men. Because we all have completely different memories of him. Your mother, being younger than I am, didn't have the same experiences, the same memories that I have. And your Auntie Sharon doesn't have any of them. They grew up in a single parent household entirely.
Auntie Sharon, it affected her the most because we all took care of her. I think she's avoiding you. I think she really doesn't want to talk about any of this stuff because it's probably still kind of raw for her.
Still?
Yeah.
I never really saw two people staying together and working it out. Like Grandpa. He was supposed to love her, love Grandma, love the family they built together. Yeah, he could walk away. I didn't want that to happen to me, but I knew it was going to happen to me. I didn't know how to stay together and work it out.
I think my mom felt sad about it, but it became more of something that she just accepted. Even though she had this image in her head of what her future life was going to be like, it wasn't all set in stone for her. Somewhere she had some hope of it being different, but she kind of knew that most likely it wasn't going to be different. My younger cousin, she doesn't have her father around either.
Well, I couldn't really talk when I was 2 when he left, so I talked to him when I was at least 5, and he bought me a pair of gloves. But it's kind of not fair because he left. And he's missing how I'm growing up and stuff. So that's kind of mean of him.
Growing up without my father around the house didn't seem much was missing because I already had my mom. I've talked with my dad around, I think 7th grade or 8th grade. And it wasn't anything very deep. Actually, I don't remember talking that much.
I asked him questions about my brothers and sister. He said that they're a little bit older than me, and that they would be happy to see me. But I don't really want to go to his house. I'd like to meet my brothers and sisters, but I wouldn't want to see him.
He has other kids. He has other kids that he does take care of. I think there's 4 of them, 4 more.
I don't remember asking him why he was never around, even though I should have. I think I did ask him, he didn't answer me.
Are you mad at him?
Yes, I'm very mad. I feel like a devil. I'm mad because how is he just gonna leave for half my life and then come back and try to make me feel happier? That's not fair.
Did he tell you why he left?
Mm-mm.
He said he was sorry?
No.
Did you ask him why, right?
No.
No? Why?
I don't know.
You didn't want to? Or you didn't think that he would answer you?
I didn't think he'd answer me.
Did you want an answer?
Yeah.
But you just didn't ask?
It just begs the question, why has it happened so many times? And is it still gonna happen so many times for like maybe the 6th generation or the 9th or the 10th or whatever?
When you get married, don't take that into your relationship that, oh, my husband is gonna leave me because this is what happened to my mother, this is what happened to my grandmother. And that doesn't have to be a pattern.
I hope that they have good relationship with men and have children, and the men are there to take care of the kids. That's what I want for you. You know?
In a way, I feel kind of sorry for your father because he missed out on a lot by not being there in your life, not being there for you. But then you had the rest of us there for you. You know, when you needed strength, we were there to strengthen you.
Several years have passed since Layla has delved into her family history. We recently caught up with her and her cousin Winter to see how they have coped with the absence of their fathers.
Hi, my name is Layla Gardner, and I made the film Repeating History 3 years ago, and I'm here today with my cousin Winter to talk about it. Neither of us has seen the film since the screening 3 years ago, and we just recently watched it and found out that we have some new experiences that tied directly into what we talked about in the film. What were your feelings when you first watched the film?
When I first watched it, I was just, shocked to see myself on screen, but I didn't really have any feelings because everything that I said in the film was exactly how I felt at that time.
So you have a sister now, a little sister.
Gabriella. Yeah.
And she's basically in the same situation that we were.
She doesn't really understand yet, but when he does come around, her eyes are wide, I guess she senses who he is, even though she's a little baby.
Have you seen your dad recently?
Yeah, I saw him in December, and I was going inside my mom's job, and then he said, "Your name is Winter, right?" I said, "Yeah," but I was like, who is this man, talking to me? And then he said, "Your birthday's December 19th. I said, "Yes." And I was trying to run past him, to get inside my mom's job because I thought he was going to kidnap me or something. And then he said, "Your mom's name is Sharon Williams and she works here, right?" I said, "Yeah, but okay." And then he said, "You know who I am?" I said, "No." And I was able to run past him inside my mom's job. And my mom said, "You don't know who that is?" I said, "No, I really don't." And she said, "That's your dad." I said, "Really?" Because he looked different.
Your mom didn't want to be interviewed for this.
Yes.
So how do you think she feels about this now?
I think my mom wishes that she could have been on camera, in your film, but she was so emotional that she didn't want the whole film to be a depressing film. She wanted it to be, telling the story.
What do you think about having our family history in a movie for people to see?
I think it tells people our story and how, other people have dealt with it. And it's good to learn about that there's somebody out there that,
you can relate to. My mom's reaction to the film, when she first saw it, she was in tears. She was nonstop crying. It was painful to see her reaction.
I would like to show my own father the film. I have a feeling, though, that his reaction would be just unmoved by the whole thing.
I would definitely show him the film so he can see how I really feel, because I've never said it to his face. He'd be kind of shocked. So.
You think he would be shocked?
Yeah, like as to what I say, because he probably doesn't know that's how I feel.
That's it for this week. Join us next time for more unfiltered voices of Brooklyn youth on Real Works.